Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. And in today's video, I wanted to go through how you read off Navigraph charts, so that you know what you're looking for and you know what everything is, so that when you need it, you can use it. So just looking at things and thinking, when do I need this? Where do I put this? And things like that. So to start with, you're just going to go to your airport you want. So here's the Navigraph menu. This is how it will be when you load it up. Head over to airports on the left-hand side and search the airport you want. For me, I'm going to do Manchester to illustrate. And yeah, so you'll be presented with something like this on the left-hand side. You can see that the ICAO and IATA ARC codes are displayed. Echo Golf Charlie Charlie and Mike Alpha November. Name Manchester, because that's the airport name, and then location, of course, it's Manchester in the United Kingdom, which is the country. The airport elevation is 257 feet or 78 meters. That will be useful to know how high the airport is above sea level. The longest runway is 10,000 feet or 3,048 meters. That might be useful if you're in a bigger A380 or something, but usually, you get that out your flight plan anyway. And it is a public airport, of course, and the transition altitude is 5,000 feet or 1,524 meters. That means that's the point at which the QNH no longer applies, and if you're higher than 5,000 feet, then you should put your barometric pressure to standard mode, because you'll be at incorrect altitudes if you don't do that. One thing to note is, why is there brackets with meters shown after the feet? Now, this is all down to this is not useful to you in any country that isn't in Asia. Only Asia uses meters, so if you're not in Asia, then just look at the feet, because the meters aren't relevant to you. But yeah, if you're in Asia, you use meters, so you have to convert your feet to meters in Asia, and Navigraph helps you out by putting meters in brackets. So that could be useful to know. So let's get into charts. So that's the information on the airport. Let's get into the charts. Or should we get into weather? Let's get into weather. So weather is here. You just click on weather at the top left, of course, top right for the thing, but it's of course at the left of the screen. But it's to the very right of the left of the screen, if that makes any sense. And you can see that we have a METAR. Now, Navigraph breaks this down for you, but what I've highlighted is what people get in real life. That's the information they get. It's not broken down for them. Essentially, what it means is Echo Golf Charlie Charlie, because that's the airport, letting you know what airport it applies to. And then that's the Zulu time after that. And the major bit is the wind here. You'll see it says 29004 KT. That's essentially telling you the wind. And to break that down for you, that means the winds are 290 at 4 knots, which actually tells you here, wind 290 at 4 knots. But yeah, essentially, if you get that, that's the wind. If it has KT at the end, it's the wind. Wind is measured in knots. And the 999 is just telling you the visibility, so it's a good visibility. The higher the number there, the better the visibility, and it doesn't go higher than 999. So if it's at 999, it's probably the best visibility. If it's lower, then the visibility isn't great, but it might not be horrible. And then the temperature is this bit with the slash here. The bit with the slash here, the one that's highlighted, That's the temperature, and it also tells you down here. The temperature is the first one, which means 14 degrees, and there's a dew point after the slash, and that's 12 degrees. Yeah, that's useful to you in when you're doing your arrival information in the flight management computers and the MCDU. And then the Q and the number, usually 4 numbers, is the QNH. That may also have an A next to it if you're in the USA. It's the same thing, it'll just be in a 3-0 format instead of a 1-0 format. And that's your QNH, your barometric pressure. Yeah, and you see altimeter 1025 hectopascals or 30.27 in hectograms. 30.27 would be the one that has an A in front of it, if you're wondering. And that's the major stuff out of the Metar. You'll find that I haven't gone through everything, and that's because you don't really need to know the rest for simulation purposes. So yeah, I decided not to go through the rest. Suppose the clouds, scattered clouds at 4,900 feet might be useful to you though. That's self-explanatory, I think. You don't need me to tell you what that means. There's also an ATIS, but that just tells you what's going on in the airport. See Manchester information S, that means information Sierra. So if you have to call up ATC, you have to tell them you've got information Sierra for the first time. The runway in use, that's 23 right. Transition level is at 60, so it's a bit higher than normal. That's something to check. It might say something in the ATIS, but then in the it might say something different in the Metar, but in the ATIS it'll tell you what's actually in use. So listen to the ATIS more than the Metar, but the ATIS is more accurate. That's what I'm trying to say. Surface wind is 290 at 4 knots. That's just the wind, of course. Visibility is 10 kilometers or more, so that 99 basically 10 kilometers, isn't it? Scattered 4,900 feet clouds. Temperature is 14 degrees. The dew point is 12 degrees. The QNH is 1025. And you have to, of course, acknowledge the receipt of information Sierra, as I've just told you earlier, and advise aircraft type on first contact. That's when you're first calling up to get your IFR or VFR clearance on any air traffic control network. So that's the weather really for you. So let's get on to charts. So for charts, in fact no. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.